So team, older populace is so good. It is just one of the best people you will service ever. And it's it's for two reasons in particular. And we're gonna get into the why it's a challenge, but let's look at positives first. And I want you, whenever you're thinking about niching into a group, you must think about this. Hey, how are you? Team, whenever you're choosing anything ever, you must consider this. Is there a need for you? And is there an ability to pay for that need? That is so crucial that I will not take any demographic that doesn't hit these two spaces, ever. That's why I love older populace, because why? Older populace have huge amounts of need because, as I've kind of talked about, we are always atrophying every year. It's likely that my bone density is going to come into question. My ligament and tendon health is probably going to diminish. My muscles will get smaller. They're going to have cognitive issues. All these things start arising, and all of a sudden, we're in huge need of even just company, which a lot of the time that's what personal training is. Okay, that's the mental health side of the business. So there's a huge need. Tick. Thank you, older populace. And traditionally, people over 30 have the capital to be able to pay for your services. And if you're particularly good, like they're already spending $200 an hour on a physio, if you're really good and seeing them 5 times a week, for someone's service of a level that's specialist in this, I've seen $400 or $600 a week for someone because I see them all the time, because there's nothing else to do with the money that they have, and they have a huge need for the thing. Does that make sense? Double tick. So why I love this space is because you'll never be out of work. Why people don't take on this space is that the need is challenging. They need you to do stuff that isn't sexy. It's not bodybuilding. Although it could be, but it's probably going to be rehab-y based. And like, okay, John, we're going to work on your proprioception. Let's grab a TRX and just see how he goes standing there and lowering. And that could be half his session. Just trying to get some sort of mobility inside the main joints of the body. That could be his whole session. Thank you, here's $200. Job done. But so if you have the stomach for that kind of work, you love it. Why I bring this up, team, is because I hear the word, I want to be a bodybuilder from about 90% of people I've ever helped, is I would love to be a bodybuilder and service bodybuilding. And you super can. But I need you to understand this. Bodybuilders under 20, or let's say under 30, let's be more reasonable. Under 30 don't have the capacity to pay you, usually. And they usually don't value your abilities. Does that make sense? Because traditionally, I'm watching Ronnie Coleman online. I'm reading books by Dorian Yates. I'm looking into Jay Cutler. I'm reading Arnold Schwarzenegger blogs because I want to get as educated as I can if I'm under 30 and being a bodybuilder. What would the PT know? I know more than him. Fuck that guy off. So that's quite often the attitude. And just talk to anyone under 30 who's trying to bodybuild. They're usually like, I know what I'm doing. I'll be right. It's not until they have that click moment where you go, I've been taking my own car to a mechanic for 20 years. Why am I trying to fix my own body? You know what I mean? You don't fix your own car unless you have the skills to do it. And when you guys are like, hey, I've done 10 years of experience and I have 30 grand worth of qualifications, I think I might be able to help you. Or better yet, you're like, I've been on stage 6 times, bitch. You don't fucking tell me how to do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like all of a sudden, like, fuck off. Like, I'm pretty good. Like, you know, but usually we don't appreciate that till beyond that space. Does that make sense? So whenever you're dissecting what niche am I moving into, please ask yourself those 2 questions. I'm going to ask you one now. I'm going to see what you guys think. Kids, so under 13. So they're not teenagers, they're kids. Where do we think that they sit on this? Do kids have a need for your skills as a coach, do you think? What do you reckon?
Not the vast majority.
Yeah, not all the time. In a sports setting, I need someone to direct them. But in a PT setting, they're probably not interested, if I'm honest. Do they have the capacity to pay you? And that's my point. So when I'm building marketing and I'm specializing in children, who am I actually selling to? Mum and dad. What's one of the biggest industries in sporting that's ever existed is children's and child sports. because mum and dad want their kids to be better than they were every time. So when I will pay, if you promise me that my son is going to have no body dysmorphic issues from his early teens and has a potential to fill his dream out that I never could, I will give you whatever you ask me that I will to get that done. The only problem is that can you deal with the need of them, because kids are high needs, same as an older populace. So again, really, really emphasizing, can they pay you? And can you facilitate their needs? And do they need you? They might not even need you, team. And that's cool. Just don't waste your time. Like, don't spend 20 years of your education trying to fix problems that no one wants you to fix. Yeah, look, we're gonna move past. Do we have some squirt? We got a little bit of squirt. Oh, beautiful. That's fine. I'm hoping it's board wipe clean and not lube, and then because I'd question why lube is in here. Now, yeah, I was gonna say. So team, we're gonna quickly crack into older populace because I really do want to give you as much time as I can about questions that are directly related to your own problems, because we can read a textbook on older populace, that's easy, but we can't answer the specific problems that you have right now with the textbook. Does that make sense? So here are the main issues you're going to run into with older populace. Older pop. Cognition is going to drop. Bone density is going to drop. Muscle mass is going to drop. Let's leave it at that for now. That'll work. Flexibility and structure and stuff is going to drop as well, but let's just stick to the main problems they're going to have. Okay. Cognition is not something that currently you should be concerned about. When we're offsetting dementia and we're offsetting stuff that is brain related, high levels of blood flow to the brain have indicated to diminish and slow down the effects of brain related disease. So what does that mean? Train more, less dumb. Okay? In simpleman terms. When you look at someone who's 80 and they've been doing their own gardening and their own pavering and they've been very active for their whole life, they are sharp as a whip even to the day. Versus you look at someone who's 80 who's been couch bound for the majority of their time and they're just not quite as sharp. Okay? So even just getting them into your space, their cognition should improve. And that is a selling point when I talk to people who are in the older populace, because you'll feel your cognition drop past 45. It will happen. I'm sorry. You are never smarter, you were never faster, and you are never better than you are right now. It's always going to diminish as you go. Okay? Again, sorry, not sorry. Let's deal with some realities and let's not worry about feelings for a minute. Your bone density and bone-related diseases, the likelihood of them happening will increase. Again, this is all part of over your lifetime, you will go up, you will peak, you will plateau, and then you will drop. Your job is to make sure that their drop is slow or their plateau is long. Okay? So with bones, you've got to stay in scope here, team. The only thing I'd really want you guys to consider is that anything that's involved in inflammation, anything that ends in ist, like arthritis, that's all inflammation. Anything like osteoporosis is inflammation. Okay? Anything that's inflammation, meaning the things are getting bulgy and inflamed and sore, we can offset it, we can't stop it. Okay, we're not in that practice. And density of bones is something that's really relevant because I can help density of bone increase by weighing the body down so that the bones have to be stronger to resist the flow, to resist the weight. Here's the caveat. I want you guys know the story of Goldilocks and the Three Bears? Yeah, pretty standard. What I want you guys to get in the habit of is use relatable analogies when talking to clients. They don't care about this. Most people don't want you to even talk about this. Use quick sayings and analogies so people understand. When I'm talking to older people, Goldilocks and the Three Bears, if the porridge is too hot, I get burnt. If the porridge is too cold, it's shit. But if it's just right, it's just right. If I put someone under a 200 kilo deadlift or squat and they're not ready, I'll kill them. If I give them a kettlebell that's 10 kilos and they needed a 40, then I won't get the bone density increase that I'm after. So we have to find this just right. And the just right sits in two spaces, load and time. If I rush either, I will not get the result. I'll get one of these. With bone density, bones are fickle things. For example, like if I'm trying to increase Achilles strength, for me to have a brand new set of cells from when the Achilles is created until its whole new set of cells is refreshed, because we're always turning over cells, it's between 7 and 9 years. So whatever you were doing 9 years ago is relevant to what your Achilles is now. And bones are also slow to grow. So if I want to increase bone density in these older populace, which is usually what we're trying to do, I would suggest that you measure it in the terms of weeks and years, not days and weeks. So it's always months and years, not days and weeks, because it takes that long. Does that make sense? It's a long time. But you just set the client up so they know that that's the case. If I say, hey, Cynthia, I'm going to help you lose 20 kilos in 6 weeks, they'll find out pretty quickly when you don't do it. But when you cut off their leg and they lose the 20 kilos and it works, it wasn't what you promised them. So you know what I mean? So make sure that you've given them the honest to God, like you're not trying to make the sell. Being honest is the sell. Does that make sense? With bone density specifically, you must be able to test it because you have to make sure what you're doing is right. So relying on DEXA scans, which I suggest you do anyway, is really important. So whenever I'm training a client, I always have 5 tests that I'm always doing. 2 of them are short term. 2 of them are in the middle, so I can test in between a session or between a program, and 1 of them is the long overarching goal. Hey team, if you're liking this content, what I need you to do is follow us, support us, leave comments. We're here to help programmers be better at programming, make coaches and PTs the best of the best that we can, and it starts with programming and it starts with you. Share, like, subscribe. So, for example, with an older populace, and I'll try to keep it older populace related, but this will be applicable for every demographic, I will have a hand strength test that I can test them on the day. They say, here's my consult. Hey, can I just get you this hand squeeze thing? This machine has said that you are not up to snuff. There's my cell. Because I'm presenting them pain straight away. I say, hey guy, guess what? The first thing you lose in strength is your hands. That's a really bad sign for us. This machine has said you are below average. I can fix that. Would you like to buy today? Oh shit, I didn't realize I was even in trouble. Of course I'd like to buy today. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, your brakes are about to go in your car. Would you want me to fix that? Of course I want you to fix that. I don't want to die. So when we're selling, I use the earliers as a point of pain because I'll never sell without pain. My first thing I do in a consult is I hop them on the scales because to remind them that you're not happy wherever you are right now. Otherwise, why are you talking to me? The last thing I want to do is be like, hey man, no, you're doing good, bro. But do you want to train with me anyway? Oh, but you just said I'm doing good. Why? Okay, well, I'm getting mixed messages. What's going on? Make sense? So I have tests that I do in the induction and before I do perhaps a session or perhaps before I do my 12 or 8 or 16 week program, whatever I've decided to do for the client that's relevant. So I might do weight, I might do hands, I might do, what's another one? Doesn't matter. Anything that I can do right now really, really quick. I could do a skin caliper. I could do a actual band, like a measurement around something that they want bigger or smaller. That's fine. That's a right now I can show you, and then whenever I want, I can retest that to show if there's been improvement or not. Good for me because I need to make sure my shit's working, and good for them because they can see that they're improving. Because your clients, older populace or otherwise, are going to go through troughs, and the studies suggest it's between 6 and 8 weeks. So I program deliberately knowing that. So if I'm looking at a yearly program or a program that's lasting a couple of weeks, I will have either a break or something incredibly fun at the 6 or 7 and 8 mark because I know they're probably going to drop off. It's when you'll lose most clients. And the best thing you can do is tell them that that's going to happen and you'll explain to them why, which we can get into later. But I would tell the client that it is likely that your motivation is going to stop at weeks 6, 7, and 8, and then you're going to do this. And you get to decide, are we going to go below or are we going to reset and go above and do this? Or are we going to do this? Okay? Does that make sense? Again, these are what you do when you're building programs and you're doing in the cell, but it's relevant for your client, your older populace, because you have to be really honest with what's going to happen for them. Okay? So that's stuff around bone density. We've got a long time horizon. We're trying to load them that's appropriate so that they're always increasing. And I must test to prove to them that it's working, and in case I need to adjust the program to see if it's working. Make sense? Before I keep rambling, because I feel like I'm talking at you guys, and I'm sorry, I apologize. Any questions about any of that shit? That all makes sense? Have you guys seen this stuff before? Well, good, that's good. This is good news, fantastic. This is really valuable, team. 2, 2, and 1, you kill people with this, because the whole time throughout the program, you have evidence your program's working, and they have evidence you're a competent coach. So my big one might be their DEXA scan, which is you get put in a big tube at the hospital. It's about $100, and you can refer them as a coach, which is really helpful. And they get exactly how dense their bones are, how much subcutaneous fat tissue is on them, and how much muscle is on them, as well as all the other little shit they don't actually care about. Like, for example, which organs have the most amount of bad fat around them. So it's fat that's going to kill them. Really important to visceral fats, I believe it is, but it doesn't matter. That's fantastic, and it's usually a good eye-opener. For your own health and benefit, I would do one every 12 weeks to kind of see if what your training is doing is working or it's just aesthetically working. Yeah, make sense? Particularly really obese clients who are strong, because they're like, oh, I'm not losing any weight. You're like, bitch, you're 13% stronger than you've ever been. Like, look at the muscle, look at the bodybuilder underneath this fat suit. But just be patient. I promise you I'll get you to lose that weight. Yeah? Okay. You can. Yeah. Yeah, you absolutely can. Yeah, absolutely you can. Yeah, you're killing it. You're killing it. There will be a day where you can't do it anymore, and I'll do this. But this is the same thing we talked about with muscle. You can still grow it, but if you do nothing, it will atrophy. It doesn't hold. It'll always drop. So a lot of people in their older demographic have stopped moving. So a lot of the guys who you don't need to help have never stopped moving. Oh, I've been doing my own car for 80 years. I'm not going to stop now. So they're not the some person you need to help. It's the person who I've just had a knee recon, and I've been bedridden for 6 months, and the physio's cleared me, but I just don't have it like I used to. And I can barely do the shopping, let alone anything else. So I need a controlled space with someone who knows what they're doing to help build me back to a spot where I no longer need to, or can use this space to build me up so I can continue my life journey. You're right, you absolutely can. You can do all the things, you can build it all back up. Cognition a little bit harder, but yeah, you can encourage it for sure. Our job is just to make sure that we stay in scope of practice and understand this, that if we do far too much too quickly, we'll kill them or injure them. If we do too little, you'll get no result. And if you do just right, your density will improve over a really long time horizon. Makes sense. And look, my mum, who's 66, she's sure as shit she's on a bone density muscle building program. She's not a bodybuilder, but she lives really well, because her goal isn't bodybuilding, it's being able to pick up my nephew and do this with him. And he gets heavier every year. So we need to keep her strong. Like, you know, and as soon as you identify the problem she has, which I need to be strong for my nephew, it's easy to build a program from that, because we already know that this is going to happen. Yeah. Guess what? Muscle's almost identical to bone. Actually, we'll quickly touch on inflammation. Inflammation, arthritis, osteoporosis, these things. There's tons of different types. It's not worth getting involved. All I need you to think about is that there's something between the joint, whether it's the bursa, whether it's the actual connective tissues and the protective tissues that are inflamed. It doesn't matter. All you need to know is there's something between the two spaces that's sore. Okay, let's call this skeleton Napoleon. It's horrendous. And a good rule of thumb, never say the word pain first. If you say pain, the client will use the word pain, but I'll never bring it up, ever. Because if I'm doing a deadlift, I say, is there any discomfort in there? No, it's not. Oh, there's no discomfort. But if I say, is there any pain? You're looking for pain. Oh, there is pain. No, it's just discomfort. You just need to be warmed up more, relax. Oh, no, deadlift's painful. Well, chill out. You know what I mean? So don't drop the P word ever, team. That's not your job, that's their job. Leave that for the specialists. Between here, ulnar radius humerus, you don't even necessarily need to know your bones, just know where they are. Probably good. Know that that's a hinge, because it's really relevant in your recovery and warm-ups, if you're doing them well. If there's issue here, there's inflammation between the joint. That means that the joint doesn't operate as well as it should, because the fluids and the things that should make this movement glide now restrict it in inflammation. So when we're trying to offset that, I can't suggest they take an anti-inflammatory. That's not in your scope, okay? But it would help, who would have thought? Anti-inflammatory stops inflammation. You can take that to the bank. What is relevant is I can, if the client isn't in pain doing it, create space for them between the joint. So for an older populace, if Loretta comes in and her ankle is really unwell, I might put a band around it or a Velcro strap around it and get her to sit with a resistance band and pull herself away, creating space in the joint. That's fine. That's in scope. Okay? Now, if it hurts her, you stop and you ask her every way, you suggest things, not prescribe things to stay in scope here. But there's no harm. It's like, well, a good rule of thumb, a good general idea, you tell Loretta, you say, Loretta, when we have inflammation, it's inflammation between the joints. We have an option. We can either just go light today because obviously we're not going to train through inflammation. This is a problem. But we can perhaps create space. Let's just see if that helps. If it doesn't, it doesn't matter. Are you comfortable doing that today? Yeah, for sure, we'll give it a crack. I'll try anything, it hurts, you know. Obviously, digits are a bit more complicated, hard to, but do you yourself pull them to give you relief? Who would have thought? Probably good. Doesn't always, that's okay. Something that you absolutely need to look into, team. You're arguably one of your top 5 next steps after you finish this course is you must look into your nutrition. You must get something that gives you some idea to give some consultation. You can already give some pretty good advice, but you don't have enough context to give great advice. So for example, some fats you eat are inflammatory and some are anti-inflammatory. So if I give you omega-3s, it will reduce the amount of inflammation between your joints. If I give you omega-6s, it will increase the inflammation between your joints. Good to know which is which. That's not needing to be a nutritionist, that's general advice. That's within scope. So, good spot to be. Also, we can't develop this very well and this very well if we're underfed. You guys are all bodybuilders mainly. I haven't asked what you are, but I'll ask in a sec. Yeah, good rule of thumb is you must have something nutrition related. Make sense? If there's questions about that, because that's a hell of a lot of information, please ask. A great one. I've got 2. I've got one I can give you right now today, and there's one that you can spend the $6,000 like I didn't do. The one on my website is free. I made one because I kept getting questions about, and so what I did is by the 300th time I'd done it in the group class setting that I did, I filmed what I do for a client and put it online. And it's for free on YouTube because I was sick of asking questions. And I use it, I give it to the client, say, watch this, then talk to me. And then it's better questions asked by them. Instead of like, what's a protein? I'm like, no, you know what a protein is. How is that relevant to you? That's really good because it's just can get you started right now and you can start talking to a client around the space. And that's good for staying in scope. If you want to go out of scope and start expanding your horizon, precision nutrition is the tits. It is 12 months, $6,000 or more. It might have been 10, but for both of them because I got both levels. What I do recommend is that your journey in personal training will tell you what you need to learn next. So what I mean by that is that if you enter the field and you get an excellent mentor and they're directing you in the ways you need to go, you might go, shit, this client's got a sore knee. It's at the 3rd one this week. I can't help them. Okay. What's more important to you now, nutrition or rehab qualification? Probably rehab. Or if you start going, you know what, I'm fucking awesome, but I can't get a single person in this door. No one knows I exist. What's the pain is marketing. So maybe you should do something marketing related because this, although is the sister to the course you've done, isn't relevant if you don't have any clients anyway. You know what I mean? So if I don't even have the capital and clients to be able to afford this, why am I bothering? But I do suggest you're forever pouring 20% of your income back into whatever it is you're trying, right? Because the more you pour into you, and this is why I really care about what we talked about at the start, ability to pay and need. Because if you want to make $100K a year, you need to have $100,000 worth of education. And that happens one of 2 ways. You either, how much was this course? Do you guys remember?
Probably get it for 3.5.
Okay. With the right hand job, it's about 7.5, 6, so about 3.5. Okay. Hand job. Okay, let's just be generous and say it's $10,000. Whatever. Let's just make the numbers easy. Easier for Bryce. Let's just say 10. You now are 90 grand away from making this in a year from an education point of view. So you, when you charge a client, are only relevant to this. So you might be only able to charge a client $50. So your time for me is worth $50 because of your experience. So that means every hour you sink into yourself, I can either increase this number with more courses, or I can increase this number. So every time I do an hour worth of work, that is deliberate for my income, for my profession, my specialism particularly, I will, every hour I sink into, I treat it like I've paid myself. So my 90 grand now becomes 89,950 because I sunk an hour into it. So I have two jobs, increase this and increase this. If you get your nutritional qualifications, it's also worth 10 grand. I would then up this to 100 because you're now double as smart. So now every hour of this sunk into this is now $100. And that's how you go from this to that. Because by the time you opened up your own business, your hours, if I wanted to give someone an hour of my time, it's $300. So realistically, that affects this dramatically because it means my time's better spent on bigger money making things like group classes or these things. Does that make sense? So you can hit these numbers, you can hit these numbers, you can do whatever you want, but it's limited by your capacities in this space. Does that make sense? Everyone okay? There's two other limiters in that space, but that's not older popular related, so we can get that to another time. How much time have I got? What we'll do, team, because I've rambled as I do, please ask questions. Let's deep dive into the stuff that's actually affecting you. And as soon as you need me out of here, just flag, okay?
Yeah,
10, sweet. So that's like 2 minutes each, team. So that's about 1 or 2 questions each, okay? If you'd be kind enough to speak into this, just so that way I can read it later. Just hold it close to you so that way I can hear it. If you do not feel comfortable on it, because it's not filming you, it just can hear you. So that way when I do it, yeah, that's okay. I'm super not editing it out. So the best thing you can do here for when you ask me questions, anything that you feel like would be really challenging to look up, where it's like, if I was like, oh, how does hypertrophy work? Is that the best expenditure of your question? Because I can Google that. But if it's like, for me personally, what niche should I go into based off the 20 seconds of conversation we've had? That kind of stuff. Something that's affecting you, the pain that's affecting you directly. Oh, what was your name again, sir? Celia. Celia, what is your question? Talia? Yeah, okay. I'll write it up. With T. Got it. Talia. So, what is your question for me? If you have one, that's okay. If you don't have one, that's also okay, because I've got like 1,000 that I've been asked already.
Do you use social media to promote your business?
You should.
Do you?
Oh, fuck yeah. Absolutely.
Do you do well on it?
My last video, I've only recently started uploading to YouTube because I'm sick of answering questions. And I think that the next step for me is to coach coaches. So I've started to build, I've got a textbook that I'm writing with some associates, and then we're putting all that content on the YouTube channel. 100%, each and every one of you should have something that I know where you are and who you are. Even if you just asked all your friends on Facebook, they already know you exist. So you need to be reaching out, and I'll tell you exactly why. There are 3 hurdles to your business that you must master as soon as you can. You must be able to program. Your program for your niche, and I say niche a lot because if you just want to fix health, you're fucked. Reality, the more niche you can get, the more capital you can generate because you start solving not 100% of problems, that there's no way that you can live 100% of lives. There's way too much. If I semi-specialize, I can look at CrossFit, for example, or bodybuilding, for example. That's still a big niche, but it's surely better than this. So if this is a $50 window, this might be a $100 window because I have more specialist skills. But when I am an elite bodybuilder who's done 5 shows and I can answer every goddamn question and I can get you that result, I can charge you whatever the fuck you want because I'm specialist amongst specialists. So I'm the 1% of the 1%. So that's why I say the word niche, because you want to go from here where you can find who you want to help, find them, hear the questions and the issues they have, and then take that to the 1% of 1% where you specialize even further. That's why we have in the kettlebell sports and jiu-jitsu sports, which is my background, you have snatch specialists, which is a movement that is done within kettlebells, which is already niche. So it's like bang, 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 bang. And to talk to one of the best people in the world who is a snatch specialist will cost you a car worth amount of money for an hour of their time. Like some of the programs my old coach used to sell could be hundreds of thousands of dollars over a year. Does that make sense? That's just general. But here are your 3 problems, and this is why you must do social medias, team. Social media is a general term, something that gets people's eyes on you. Okay? Here are your 3 biggest issues in this business. Your ability to program, which is what I'm trying to fix, your ability to sell, and your ability to market. If your program is dog water and is terrible and you can't provide, if I say I'm going to help you do this thing and I can't do it and I just don't understand why it's not happening because I don't have the capacity yet, which is okay, what's the point in selling it? Because it never will. Because as soon as someone does it once, they'll run your name through the dirt. So what's the point of marketing something that's not going to work anyway? Does that make sense? If I got the best damn program in the world, and because it's so goddamn good, it sells like hotcakes because the proof is in the pudding, but no one knows I exist, what's the point? If I am an absolute amazing marketer, so I've made all the things online, and I've got a shit and awesome program, but I can't sell the product to the client, it's also useless. So you have 3 things you must master. And here's my rule of thumb for you. Rule of 100. I have rules around each of these things because they're so prevalent. 7 hours, 100,000, 2,000. Okay. Here's my 3 rules that are going to save you the first year of your training. As soon as you graduate, do this. Anytime I want someone to trust me to buy my product, they have to have at least 7 hours of seeing you in some fashion. I gave you all a Monster drink at the start of this. Why? Because in that one instance, you liked me 10 cents more and you gave me 10 seconds more of attention. 100%. It was 100%. I'm sorry, it was a ploy and I'm sorry, but it's awesome because when you walk in and I go, so one of my marketing things when I tell clients to go to new gyms, so new PTs to go to new gyms, I say, buy a slab of Monster and give a can of Monster to every single person in the room because no one wants to talk to you because they know you're trying to sell them something. So don't sell them nothing. Go, here you go, mate. Oh, it's lovely to meet you. Do you want one of these? Oh, I've got like 1,000. Oh, if you don't want it, just give it to someone else. Anyway, have a good day. Oh, here's a can. Oh, dude, killing it, brother. Boom, boom, here's this, boom, boom. Like I think, what was your name? Oh, I'm Bryce. I'm one of the new coaches here. Anyway, I'm busy. Oh, okay. And the next time I see him, oh, Johnny, how you doing, brother? How's that lift going? Oh, man, looking big, brother, looking good. Someone's leaving. See you, bud. Something I do in front of my office is a scale. And everyone who goes to that scale, whenever they hop on it, I stop whatever I'm doing and I lean back and I go, is it saying what you want? Oh, it's broken, this thing. Like, you know what I mean? Oh, it says it's 1 person at a time. Like, you know what I mean? So whatever, right? But I'm accruing 7 hours of attention with you. 100%. Well, it's exactly right. So if I have 7 hours of content that you've absorbed from me between the platforms and in person, you might have seen me down the street, you see me at the gym all the time, you see my reels, you see my marketing, you see stuff that is free and not trying to sell me on stuff. Well before the 7 hours comes along, you will have had a conversation with me and we might have had a coffee. You might have done a session with me already. I might give you a free session, who knows? But whatever it is, after that 7 hours of accruement, you would classify me as either a close acquaintance or borderline a friend. And then I can sell you whatever the fuck I want. And you'll probably buy it because the reason we do this is to build trust. Why else are we doing it? Because without trust, firstly, trust in yourself, I can give you the best program on the planet in my field because I trust and I've done the experience to do so. I just need you to believe it. And the best way to do that is build 7 hours. You might even talk to these guys and they might have been clients of me previously and they go, oh shit, if you can get in with Bryce, that's awesome. They're doing the work for me. But you're right, without the marketing and the media, until you have a reputation, like Fit College would have helped hundreds of thousands of people by now, when you give a suggestion down the track, and you've certainly done more than 7 hours here, if you liked the product, you will tell the next PT, oh, Fit College is where I did it and I sure as shit loved it. I did mine via TAFE in a place I won't disclose because it's on camera. Fuck them, it was the worst. And I don't recommend it. I recommend Fit College. That's my endorsement, there you go. But you know what I mean? So like, this is to build trust. We must do that. That's why social media is so important. If you're not good with social media, make enough money to hire someone to do it, or just film every workout you do and post it. And then sink $10 into it on the ones you really like. See which ones trend. See which one's like, oh, I got 10 views on that one and 1 on that one. Why? Oh, well, in this one I had my shirt off, so it looks good. Or this one I was doing a deadlift and I put a caption saying, get after it, or whatever it be. Like, dissect it a little bit, but you must create 7 hours of things. In the gym setting, that might just be me walking around and casually talking to people, just so they see me and they're like, is that guy a trainer? Oh, sick, I actually need help with something. That's why I always train at the gym I'm working at, because they see me there training. Someone goes, you're the coach dude, right? I am indeed. How can I help? Oh, I fucking need a program, eh? When you free? Oh, you know, whenever. Well, here's this. Let's just write something down now. We'll just pencil it in because we can always change it. Yeah, that's a good idea. Consult, job done. Here's another thing you can do. This is going to blow your mind, and this is something I really recommend you guys to do, is as soon as you graduate and you get a mentor and you're in a space, either a big box, semi-specialist or super specialist, I want you to ask your mentor to give you every number of every client in the building or email. And you're going to send them a, hi, I'm ... and I'm a new PT, and I would love to see you if you need help with anything. You'll see me around the gym. I'm not selling them something. I might even send them something free. Like, hey, if you want to come to the consult with me, I'm giving free coffees or monsters out this week. I'd love to give you one. And even better yet, send them a video of you talking to them directly. Being like, hey, Lorette, I'm actually one of the new PTs here. I see that you train with us. See, you haven't been here in a while. Look, we're just touching base. If you need any help, talk to me. Send it. Because it's visual is another big thing with marketing. Photos are not as good as videos. That's why I don't use them. Does that make sense? 7 hours. If you can build 7 hours of trust with anyone, it doesn't matter how good or bad you are, you will be able to sell them something. Okay? You don't even have to do the work. Film one video, make 10 clips, which is easy as shit to do now these days. They'll find it themselves a lot of the time. But you must do something in the marketing space. Otherwise, I just don't know you exist. Like there's probably coaches out there who are far better than name any celebrity coach you can think of, but just no one knows about them. Yeah, because they just didn't. Or even look at some of the new age bodybuilders, the young guys are all on steroids. Schultz, what's his name?
Schultz.
Yeah, there's a new guy. It doesn't matter. There's this new guy, and he's like, the only reason he's nowhere near as good as anyone else, he's just got the most likes, and he's got the most. He releases like, yeah, something like that. Yeah, Sam Sulek, that's it. He releases like 10 reels a day because he's got a team to do it, mind you. Yeah, and that's just to get reach. Like one of my reels will get 60,000 views. And I'm not selling anything, I'm just giving information away at this point because there are steps to this, okay? But yeah, 7 hours, again, I've harped on a little bit, but let's knock this one out. Sell rule of 100, do 100 reps of it. And what I mean by that is every day you are gonna find something to send to someone. That could be a cold call, that could be an email, that could be a warm call. So I might go to the marketing page of my business, because the beautiful thing about our industry is that if you go under a big box gym, although there are issues with them, they have a marketing team doing that work for you. Okay, I'm gonna go to the Facebook page of World Gym where I work, and I'm gonna look at every single motherfucker who liked every image that's ever been there, and I'm gonna send them a personal message, because that's a warm lead. Because they've cared enough to like an image that's been put there, which means they're probably going to care enough to either ignore you, tell you to fuck off, or actually be interested in coming in to chat with you. There's going to be one of three things, and the most likely thing that'll happen is they'll never talk to you. But they will go, oh, you're that Bryce guy who messaged me, when they see you next, when that's accrued. So warm leads, cold leads. A hot lead is when someone walks in the gym and goes, please sell me a program. And it happens once every blue moon, and you should never let them walk out of the room. A good rule of thumb is this: if the client has the energy enough to come into the gym in the nervousness of getting into a new gym space and be like, hey, can you tell me about the gym? That means they want you to sell it to them. They didn't drive all the way to World Gym with you, get through the car, walk through this big brand new space with a bunch of people they don't know if they didn't want to be sold on that day. Never let a client who's walked in walk out without a proposal of joining up on the spot. Just a good rule of thumb. Because again, it's a lot of energy. Like if I want to go to a salsa night and I manage to get the courage enough to actually get there, that's probably the time I'm best to be sold into the salsa classes, which is a fun thing. You should do it. Rule of 100 is 100 messages for 100 days in a row, and you will fill your book. And if you don't, you fucked it up somehow. You need to work on your selling. So 100, this is not mine. This is quite common. 100 contacts, 100 days in a row. And if you're really, really in a good financial position, like you're making good capital, $100 a day into the things that are being seen. Okay, so you're spending $100. Here's a good way to do that. I'm going to say to my client, if you refer a friend, I'll give you $100. Now, that's on the condition that your friend does one PT session with me. Pretty reasonable. Guess how much my PT session is? Versus, hey man, if you refer a friend, I'll give them a session for free. Are you going to do it? Fuck you, no way. Make sense? So I've just gone, boom, boom, rule of 100, just playing with $100. I was going to give it to them for free anyway because I'm desperate. But more often than not, if you're in a good spot, where you're in a good place where your mentor really cares about you, they're going to fob you off all the annoying clients anyway. So your books will probably be full. But when you start getting to the specialist space, 100 emails, 100 days at $100, 100 calls, hell, like use this rule of 100 because you cannot beat volume. Because reality is of 1,000 outreaches I'll do, 100 will get back, 10 of those will actually truly come in for a consult and one of them will become a client. So that means it's just a numbers game and I can calculate it. Really? So if I know that $1,000 is guaranteed to get me 10 clients based off that metric, because $100 is guaranteed to get 10,000 views, which will get me 1,000 cold reaches, which will get me 10 actual butts and seats consults, which will get me roughly 1 sell, then I will get 10 off $1,000. And if each one of my clients buys a $2,000 package, it means that every single time I do $100, I'll get $2,000. So now I'm paying myself to do this. Does that make sense? Okay, let's finish it off with the program. You must have, the rule of 1,000 is first, well, there's a couple of rules around programming, but I would say my mentor made me write 100 programs for each of the demographics. He said, I want you to write 100 programs for fat loss, 100 programs for hypertrophy, 100 programs for body composition, and 100 programs for recovery. Bring it into me at the earliest convenience. And it took me 6 months. It was really hard because none could be the same was the rule. And then he got those programs and he threw them in the bin because he's an asshole. And he said to me, what's the lesson here? I said, you're an asshole. Apparently not, but what the lesson was that I'm willing to bet to you, he said to me, that the first program you were nervous about showing me versus the 100th. I was like, absolutely. I was hoping that the volume would carry the weight of the shitty ones. I'm not sure if you guys are a Dragon Ball Z fan, but we were. And the analogy was Goku, the main character, goes to the master on the hill. And he says, the master on the hill has a secret technique that can make anyone invincible, more or less, right? Goku says, please, Master Roshi, train me. I will, but only if you carry this heavy turtle shell and when available, you need to break this boulder that's in front of my house. Until you can do that, I cannot show you my secret technique. Okay. Goku trains, he gets strong enough that goes up to the rock and he shatters it, he takes off the heavy turtle shell, celebrations. Teach me the secret technique. The secret technique is you just destroyed a boulder with your hands. It was the training, there was no technique. Now you are skilled enough to leave. Same with this. Write 1,000 programs over the period of your apprenticeship, which is 1 to 4 years. And by that point, you're sure as shit gonna be an expert. So 7 hours to build trust. 100 outreaches for 100 days, and then 1,000 hours of programming. This is to be done on a long time horizon. Do not think in months, think in years, because if you do anything for long enough, you will win. It is inevitable. If you do one post every day for the rest of your life, eventually you'll be one of the biggest posters on the planet. Same as podcasts. Most podcasts don't last they drop after 20 episodes. So if you can get to 21 and you're in the top 1%, so if you do one podcast every week or every fortnight for the rest of your life, you'll be in the top 0.001% of podcasts on the planet. Because I'm fighting time horizons this way. I'm thinking in my 4-year apprenticeship is when I want to be out. I say to myself, at the end of my 4-year apprenticeship, I want to make 200 grand a year. Okay? Work backwards from there. You start with how much do you want to make, and how soon do you need to do it. You can make 200 grand in a year if you wanted to. You need to find a super specialist who's already doing that. It's not likely, but it's possible. It's far more reasonable to find someone who's making that kind of capital and spend 4 years under them to get there. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question about marketing? Is it way too much information?
No.
Okay. Program, sell, market. Fix this, develop that. If this is good, that's easy. And if that's easy, that happens. Make sense? Question. If I have time and if you need one. Wrap it up, okay. That's it. Seriously, just give me the thumbs up and we'll cancel it. That's easy. That's no problem at all. Yeah, sweet. Okay. Well, let's just cap it. Team, I'm going to write my number on the board. What I do is the last round, I offered anyone who wants to come onto the podcast or come and have a coffee with me, you're welcome to. I'm never going to charge you anything. I think you guys need to be developed into strong athletes and strong PTs. If you don't reach out, I can't help you. 1 of the 10 messaged me, and he's the one who's still doing very well. Who would have thought? Okay, so I will give you my personal number. Any question you have, if you need programs, I have so many that I can just palm you off whatever you need. Do try to stay in scope of practice. The reason I'm happy to give you a program is because there's a rule of thumb in what I believe is that you should always teach a man to fish so he can feed himself for a day, but sometimes I'm just fucking hungry. If you're starving, have the fish, learn later. Make sense? And my only cost to you is please do this for the next round of people. Like, you will eventually be where I am. You must pay this forward because we are a competitive industry for no reason in particular. For whatever reason, you are all competing against me and vice versa because we're in the same coaching industry. That's ridiculous. That's so dumb. Why am I not trying to help you? Because if you guys are better, it sends less people to the physios because you're injuring less people. And that way we all grow as all high tides raise all boats. Does that make sense? The amount of clients who I've had who are so overjoyed because their previous PTs have put them with physiotherapists. Some of my friends who are physios love PTs because they're so commonly breaking people. It's why we have a bad rap. We're at the bottom of the food chain because we're shit. But also, how can you expect to be anything other than that? Because this course is maybe 12 months long and now you're going into the profession. Treat it like an apprenticeship because at the end of 4 years, you'll be unstoppable, particularly if you already know your niches. Now you can jump past a bunch of steps. Cool. Absorb the free content team. Message me. Oh my God, please message me. I'm happy to help any of you.